stayed here the entire time while Donald Trump was being elected, or not elected, being inaugurated as our 47th president. And at the same time, the eagles, the bald eagles, were chattering in the tree. I didn't see them. I will show you a video of them. But they were chattering in the tree as if to say, God bless America. I saw Biden and Harris sitting on the side of the chair, or sitting on the side, on the right-hand side of Trump. Well, actually his left, but stage right. And the look on their faces was sheer hatred. It was demonic. Absolutely demonic. Thank you, Lord. God bless America. Look at that deer. I had a pet deer in Grass Valley. And it was my best friend. It was my only friend after my horses were taken away. I was given horses, but what I didn't know is Bob, my biological donor, had rented out the 10 acres and had me feed them. He told me they were my horses. They were not. They belonged to the Jack Brulette. So I was heartbroken, and I had this deer. A couple weeks earlier, I had been kidnapped, drugged, and raped and kept for 2 nights by a man named Richard in Grass Valley. He was 45 years old. I was 14. My parents let a man they'd never met, had never heard of him, had no idea I was friends with his daughter at the swimming pool. He told my parents that his daughter and wife were sick, and their neighbor had a child that was in ICU in Sacramento Hospital, Children's Hospital, 110 miles away from home, and they needed a babysitter, and he would take me there and bring me back Monday morning. It was Friday afternoon. I didn't want to go with him. Well, he took me to the bowling alley. I sat in his truck for a long time. I think he was getting Rohypnol. Then he got me a cherry cola. He went in and he made me stay in the truck. Oh, poor dear. It's injured. Made me stay in the truck and came back, and he says, here, I got you a cherry cola. I says, oh, I can't drink it because I don't drink caffeine. I vowed not to partake of anything it was part of my baptismal vows. And he says, well, you can ask your priest. I said, no, I talked to God. I'm not going to drink it. He says, look, I got it special made for you. Drink it. And he scared me, so I drank a little bit of it. And then he told me, he says, I heard what you were telling my daughter, that your father hasn't been helping you, that all men are supposed to do that to their daughters to prepare them for marriage. And that was to have relationships, you know what I mean. So he kept me for 2 nights. And as he drove into our driveway, he says, and he grabbed my hand. I remember his big hands were all red, and the sun was coming up. It was early in the morning. And he says, if you tell anybody, I will unalive your 2 sisters who were living, my sisters were living in foster care in Nevada City. I don't know, 10 miles from our dump. We lived at what used to be called the Dewdrop Inn. It was a tavern. It was a house that was converted to a tavern. It was surrounded by a bunch of willow trees. Those trees would weep. I'd sit under the trees and weep because I was so abandoned and so alone. So after this, I told my parents what happened. That was not a favorable response. They took me to the emergency and got drugs for me. My mom told me not to tell what had happened. She says, I don't have time to deal with it. I'm taking my finals. She was a nurse in nursing school, and I don't have time to deal with that. I'm almost done. I've got to take my state boards. And if I fail, then I'm going to lose my job. I won't have a job. Your sisters will go into real foster care where they will be harmed, P. Diddy harmed. And I was terrified. And my mom said, you did wrong drinking that cola. It's all your fault, and you wore a short-sleeved dress or shirt. It was 100 degrees, and I had short jeans on. I didn't know he was coming over. Anyway, because I told Bob and his brother my bio, went after Richard and beat him with chains. They knocked all his teeth out, beat him to near death. But what good did that do to me? They were just angry. Bob was just angry because his possession was tainted. Yeah, I was viewed as tainted. I was all alone in the afternoon, and that deer came up to... She knew that I was heartbroken. I put my arms around her, and I started crying. A shot rang out. Richard was across the street with a scope. He tried to kill me, but he got my deer instead. There was a trail of blood leading to the back 100 acres, 1,000 acres. I never saw her again. We moved to Loma Linda just a few days later because my mom was done with her graduation. She graduated top in her class. She never talked to me. She never interacted with me. I'm 7 and 9 years older than my siblings. It was sad that she could care less about me. I cleaned house, I made dinner, I took care of my siblings as much as I could. I never heard the word I love you. I never heard the word I thank you. For Christmas, I got new underwear. Just 2 or 3 pairs of underpanties. That's what I got for Christmas. I never, ever had a birthday party. Never had a birthday cake. Never had a card. Nothing. But my life changed when I met my husband, Larry. I was 17 years old. I had a newborn baby, 2 weeks old, on New Year's Day. He was born December 13, 1969. I had nowhere to go, and I stayed at a dance hall with Alice Cooper. I'm going to contact Alice Cooper to help confirm my story. I know he will. He's a Christian man now. But he was debuting his song, School's Out for Summer, and that was April 1st, 1969. We were supposed to have a devastating earthquake. Didn't happen. But anyway, a lot of people say, no, that song didn't come out for years. Well, yes, it did. Anyway, God bless America. I think our country is on the right track, but I am really worried. Really worried. Yeah, I had a horrible life, but look where I live now. The deer is injured. There's something wrong. I noticed this deer was crippled during the springtime. And then the eagles, I heard them chattering this morning. They were saying, God bless America. I didn't mean for my trauma to come out, talk about the deer, but that's why deer are very special to me. And I love that song, As the Deer. It's a praise hymn. I don't play it that well. I can play it on my piano, but not that well. But I think things are going to look up. God bless you, and thank you for coming. Thank you for stopping by. If you're not subscribed, would you do so, please? I'm looking for more, sad fishing for more members, subscribers. I'm not monetized, so I don't make any money. I'd like to do that. Look at her. Yeah, she laid there for over an hour and a half. I have a video of her laying there. Her name is Maggie. Maggie Maga? Maggot, not maggot. But yeah, after I had my baby, I slept in my car. My parents told me they couldn't bring my illegitimate. I remember my dad says, get that bastard off my property. You do not bring him around until he is legal. He wanted me to marry this guy I'd been with, David Sparks, but I didn't tell him about the rape when I was 17 at the Purple Haze there outside of Loma Linda in Colton, California. Just before you get into Loma Linda on Barton Road. I was taken there because it was cold and rainy and I could have a place to sleep. And that's when I met that awful man, part of that group, Alice Cooper. But you know what? My husband loved me. He accepted my son. I went to work at Winchell's when he was 2 weeks old. Oh man, that was awful, standing on my feet after having a baby. I was in the hospital for 5 days. They tried to get me to give him up. They didn't want me to keep him. Hi, Will. Is Will 411 here? And Larry and I got married when he was in college. He was just getting ready to graduate with his biomedical electronics engineering degree. He went on with Motorola University and got 2 PhDs through Motorola University. It's not accredited like a regular university, but he still has that. Anyway, what do you think? God bless America, huh? And that's why deer are special to me, because that deer comforted me, gave to me when I needed it most. But an evil man shot and killed her. Bob and his brother Chet hiked to the back thousands of acres trying to find my deer. They followed the blood trail. They knew she was dying. I'd had my arms around her when she got shot in the upper flank, right next to my head, where I was laying, crying, telling her all my sorrows. Anyway, God bless you all. Today is going to be an interesting day. I was surprised that Biden and Harris could not. Did you know Alice Cooper is now a Christian? Look at it. He is really something. But I've never wanted to make contact with him because he was so evil. And when I went down to the Mayo Clinic down in Scottsdale, I was tempted to go to the restaurant that he had there in Scottsdale. But I had no idea that him and Cheryl were good. His wife Cheryl, I'm Cheryl. His wife are strong Christians. But I was going to go to the restaurant to talk to him about meeting him there in 1969. This was 2002 that I went to the Mayo Clinic. Oh, is that deer going to jump the fence? I hope not. But I was too afraid because she was evil. Or he was evil. I believed he was satanic music, but little did I know. Now I will contact him. That deer is right behind that, right in the middle. Oh, those dogs next door. I have spinal stenosis. I got some good gripping shoes though. Yeah, I got these shoes, tennis shoes. They grip, they're very good. But now that I know that Alice Cooper is a Christian, you can see on his TVN interview. Oh, look, she's going to lay there. Huh. His interview on TVN. I'll try to find a link and post it here. He talks about his conversion to the Lord and how he stopped doing that evil stuff. I wonder if there's a bobcat that's been hanging around there. Yeah. Look at these birds. Oh no, there's a trash. I hear something. Thank you guys for coming. What a beautiful day. What kind of bird is that? Or chipmunk? Squirrel. That's a squirrel. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Thumbs up, please. God bless America. God bless you. God bless us all.